Hello my friends and welcome. Let's go straight to the frontline updates. We have just minor updates for today, but there is some information coming from the landing point of Ukrainian army across Antonovsky Bridge near to Oleshki village. For the first time, the Ukrainian command admitted that our forces had landed on the other part of the Dnieper River. According to the public resources, there should be around 70 soldiers on the previously Russian-controlled territory. As you can see, not a lot of the infantry Ukraine decides to use for this particular mission. They conduct this operation for already 1 week and Russia cannot do anything with the Ukrainian soldiers. They even used Iskanders to target our soldiers, but still unable to take this place under their control again. The last night it was reported that Ukraine sent more of the reinforcements to that area and probably in nearby future will continue to go southbound to take Oleshki under control. But Russia built the defense lines over there. Let's see them on the chart. No, actually they were building those further away from Oleshki, and Oleshki was flooded because of the massive flooding after Russia destroyed the Novakhovka Dam, so there are not many defense areas left for Russians. Actually, Russia tried to get this place under control. They put some BTRs to the place, but BTRs were met with Ukrainian artillery fire. One of the Russian BTRs that survived went back to Oleshki but was met with a friendly fire and completely demolished. So our guys are still holding across the Dnieper River, but the goal of this operation for me is unknown, because with just 70 people to move forward to Oleshki, it's the suicide mission, but also to stay at the same place under the Russian fire, the suicide mission as well. So finally, I do expect that Ukraine will use many more forces to try to advance towards Oleshki at least. About the southern part of the front line, probably Ukraine will try to go all in with the current forces available, and it's gonna happen very soon. At least this information was announced by the President Zelensky. He said that till the NATO summit, Ukraine will try to get more ground. We got this information somehow also from the Serbian president. He said that Ukrainian armed forces will try to develop a counteroffensive and break through the defense lines of the Russian Federation in order to show the results by the NATO summit in Vilnius on July 11th. Vučić believes that tomorrow or the day after tomorrow a large offensive operation will be conducted by Ukrainian side. There will be two of the directions of Ukrainian offensive, one in Bakhmut and much more significant towards Energodar and Melitopol. He said that Ukraine had prepared several dozen brigades and will break through the Russian defense lines in that region. So he is quite positive about the prospects of Ukrainian army assault. Hopefully it will be like that. I would agree that Ukraine is getting ready for something big, because we used the Storm Shadow cruise missiles also against the Russian air defense. Plus, we destroyed lots of the command centers, ammunition depots recently. For the last week, it was the record number, something around 20. By the way, the video of the Storm Shadow cruise missile is available on my Telegram channel, as many of the other videos. Plus, I post regularly on Telegram, so to be more updated with the current news around Ukraine and not only, please subscribe for my Telegram channel. You may find it in the video description just below. And thank you so much. We have reached 200,000 subscribers on Telegram. That's awesome result. What worries me with the future jump of Ukrainian armed forces are those defense lines. Those are hard to penetrate without the Western-made jets, as I told you in my latest video, but it's not unreal. Unfortunately, with this case, we'll have more losses compared to offensive operation with aviation. In this case, you should be ready for more images appeared in the media with destroyed Ukrainian Leopard tanks, Bradleys and many more infantry vehicles. It is war, it's not the easy walk. In normal circumstances, those defense lines should be bombed by aviation. For that, we now use the artillery systems, but compare the artillery shell with huge several tons aviation bomb. So you cannot really eliminate the Russian defense lines with just artillery systems. In that case, you need like millions of shells of artillery. Our General Commander Zaluzhny already spoke with Mark Milley. He said that we need more and more shells, like 100,000 per week. Otherwise, 1,000 soldiers of Ukrainian army would lose their lives. The problem for our allies is that they don't have enough resources and facilities to produce those shells in that number. No one was really prepared for the conflict of this scale in Europe in 21st century. Plus, there are some countries like Hungary that blocks all of the initiatives from the European Union for the military supply of Ukrainian army. In that case, European Union have to find some other solutions for Ukraine, and that unfortunately takes time. The bureaucratic machine also slows down the military help for Ukraine. If we speak about the United States, there are also huge logistic issues, because there is simply the Atlantic Ocean between us and ships that are not very fast as airplanes or as the railroad transport. Plus, the military supplies are usually very heavy, so it's impossible to deliver everything we need by using the cargo airplanes. Not for this scale of war. That is why the Ukrainian army, I may admit that it's harder than expected. The counteroffensive will still go, and finally Ukraine will win. Now it's just a matter of cost of this victory. So some say that Ukraine will perform the main strike on Melitopol, but also there is the other direction, the Bakhmut area, and Ukraine continue to press here. We don't have the latest update of the military map with more ground gained by Ukraine, but from the media resources I understand that our guys are moving day by day, taking the ground. It's awesome. Because of that, Russia is forced to send more reinforcements to Bakhmut this time. From what area they may get the reinforcements? Just from this part, Zaporizhia and Kherson. Let's check out the concentration of the Russian armed forces. As you can see, most of them are already on the eastern side of Ukraine, so they cannot take their forces out from the defense lines, but they may send the reinforcements, for example, from Kherson region. Supposedly, Ukraine will not cross the Dnieper River with huge forces, but still there is the risk for the Russian army, since our guys already landed on their previously controlled territory. So it is the big issue for Russia where to take the forces from. Wagner doesn't fight any longer, and it is minus 25,000 soldiers. It's the huge number. I just hope that the future counterattack operation of Ukrainian armed forces is well planned and will not be conducted just to show to NATO members that the Ukrainian army is able to take the ground for a big price. The goal of the operation should be just military, not that political. According to the latest information that went to the media resources, our forces started the offensive towards Priutne village over here. The fighting continues, and it's hard to say how far Ukrainian forces have moved. Plus, there is the fighting reported near to Kremina in this direction. There is no frontline changes, but Russia last week tried to assault on Ukrainian positions. They lost many tanks and infantry over there. Today, probably Ukraine tried to get the Russian positions under control. Speaking about the French-made IMX-10 tanks, there was the interview of the commander of the 37th Battalion of Marine Brigade, the Armed Forces of Ukraine, called sign Spartan. In his interview to the French press, he said that those vehicles have a very thin armor. He told about the story, then Ukrainian army lost one of the vehicles, then artillery shell exploded nearby. The shrapnel just went into this tank, killing all of the crew members. It is very sad. He said that those vehicles are impractical for offensive operations due to their thin armor, but very effective for the fire support. Those vehicles have pretty much good observation devices. All of the cameras plus the gun, he said, is okay. So what I wrote on my Telegram channel about this particular topic, I said that those vehicles should be used in different way just to support the Ukrainian infantry. Every vehicle has its own purpose, so this one should stay behind the first line of offensive, to stay in the second one at least. If you send those vehicles straight to the Russian defense lines, they'll all be destroyed and demolished. Their main task is the secondary wave. Then there are still some of the Russian forces left after the heavy tanks went up front, and the goal of the IMX is to fastly encircle the Russian positions and fight against mostly infantry and armored vehicles. This gun, however, also might be effective against some of the Russian tanks if they somehow left behind the front lines. Then the heavy tanks went forward. I guess it's pretty much obvious, and our military commanders for sure know the duty of this vehicle. and those were not used to penetrate the Russian defense lines. I saw some of the pictures with destroyed IMX. That happened because of the mines or the artillery fire, which might happen not at the edge of the front lines. Ukrainian soldiers on the south trophied some of the Russian equipment, including the Mosinno rifle. The Mosinno rifle was designed at the end of the 19th century. Soldiers were fighting using this rifle during the First and the Second World Wars. As you can see, Russia continued to use it. Once I was shooting from this rifle, it's very powerful actually, but very outdated and not that effective compared to the modern-day automatic rifles. There was the big kaboom in the Krasnodar region of the Russian Federation, not far away from the Russian military base. As you can see, those are people downstairs. Just look at this crater. It's just enormously big. So what happened over there, no one knows. But Russia uses the military base, which is not far away from this place, to target the Ukrainian territory. There could be a big problem for the Leopard maintenance. As you probably know, Germany and Poland tried to negotiate the maintenance on the Polish territory. From what I understood, based on this article, Germany calculated the cost of the repair 12,000 euros per each tank unit. This is just for initial diagnostics from what I understood, but Polish Defense Enterprise Group (PJZ) demanding more than 100,000 euros per the tank unit. Plus, the Polish Defense Group doesn't want to provide any guarantees for repairs, so how does it work? If you repair some of the systems of the tank, you should guarantee that they will work for some time. It's usual. It applies for the airplanes as well as for cars. So the repair facility in Poland should have been opened around 1 month ago, but still there are some negotiations ongoing. As you can see, bureaucracy may stop the offensive of Ukrainian army in this case. Well, I'm sure that they're gonna solve the problem, but in our modern commercial world, as you can see, money matters more than human lives. Alright, Kadyrov recorded the video today. He was speaking loud. He is more or less okay from what we may judge, so he is not severely ill. Also, he showed Hanov in his video. It means that the information about their terrible condition was over-exaggerated. Probably there was something, but not very significant, not this time. What is interesting that Kadyrov in this video said that they live the bright life, and bright life sometimes gets short. He said that anyways they're not planning to live for a long time. Maybe he doesn't know Russian very well, but that is what he said. Kadyrov, personally you are free to go from this nasty world everywhere you want. We're not so privileged to hold you back. About the Wagner PMC, they stopped the recruitment today. They announced that they will take the break for at least 1 month because they were expelled from the Ukrainian conflict, from the Ukrainian war. That's why basically they don't need that huge number of the soldiers. Maybe they're gonna lay off their own soldiers because the Belarus camps are quite limited. President Joe Biden will participate in the NATO summit in Lithuania, Vilnius. He will also visit some other countries around, like Finland, for example, and obviously he should meet with President Zelensky on the summit. However, President Zelensky said that if there will be no further movement in Ukrainian membership in NATO, President Zelensky would not go to meet with NATO representatives and also presidents of the countries. But I think that finally he will go there. 6 of the British-made Hurricane fighters were found near to the Kyiv city. Those fighter aircraft are from the Second World War and were delivered to the Soviet Union during the Land-Lease program. I was always surprised that United Kingdom supplied the fighter jets to the Soviet Union, even though they had to defend their own skies against the German bombers. So if they had those airplanes in their Royal Air Force, they would have destroyed many more bombers, but they helped the Soviet Union, a completely different country. And what Russia says now, this help is nothing. Soviet Union won the war solo. This finding is also very important because all of the airplanes were at the same place. They were purposely burned and buried underground after the war is over. Why was it done? Because the Soviet Union recorded those airplanes as the military losses. In that case, they would not have to return the funds for the lease. The deal is very similar as for Ukraine nowadays. If Ukraine wants to keep the weaponry after the war is over, we need to pay for it. If the particular weaponry is lost, we don't have to pay. So here the Soviet Union just destroyed the fully airworthy airplanes. That tells a lot about the Soviet Empire. It was as rotten as this part of the wing construction. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.